How you going? Line fishing sucks. You sit in the sun, being a useless idiot, most of the time catching nothing. Then when you do, it's usually something you don't want.
Taxi! Taxi!
But then I realized a fish is kind of like an engine, so I could use them as a renewable energy source. So today I'm going to attach a bunch to the front of my boat until I have enough to never need a regular motor ever again.
You're picking up speed right now.
Alright, first I need to work out what kind of fish I'm going to use. So I made this fish scale with a couple of different factors, like power, slipperiness, easiness to catch, and resilience. And at the top of the power scale, we have the marlin, which would be the perfect fish for this experiment, as they are powerful and I would only need one to pull a boat. However, men spend their whole lives trying to catch this fish, and the only thing they usually get is a lot of debt and then divorced, which I don't want to happen again. Then I have the kingfish, which are plentiful in Sydney, and I know from experience that they have more than enough power to pull you underwater, like this one that's pulling my mate. So 2 would probably be enough. But I've only ever caught them spearing, and I don't think they are going to be very good at pulling a boat when they have a spear through them, which leaves me with a couple more common fish. First, we have the long-finned eel, which are very resilient, very powerful, very easy to catch, but very slippery and bitey, and I cannot imagine harnessing them.
Oh my god, he's so smart! Slippery as an eel.
I also have the bonito, which fight really hard and are everywhere, but I know from experience that they also have very soft flesh, so they're just going to rip themselves apart in the harness. Which has left me with the infamous carp. Hated by everyone in Australia for destroying our rivers and tasting horrible. But I think they get a bad rap, and we just don't like them because Chinese people eat them. And now they plague our waterways, and I felt their power, and also know they are extremely resilient, while also being everywhere. So I'm going to go with them. And before I strap a bunch of them to the front of the boat, I need to find out how much one carp can pull, just to give me an indication I'm on the right track. Now I've gone out to Para Lake, which is a very nostalgic spot for me. I wagged school and jumped off this rock with friends. I punched my first cone under this ledge. And I sucked off my first man under those lily pads, which is exactly where I'm going to cast. And after a couple of hours of hanging around with nothing happening, I changed spot. And nothing happened, so I changed spot again. And I did 6 hours of fishing on this day and got absolutely nothing except sunburnt. So I tried again, a day later. And while fish aren't biting in real life, the sponsor of today's video, Fishing Clash, gives you an opportunity to fish anywhere and anytime. Fishing Clash is a super realistic fishing game where you can compete with other players around the world to catch the biggest and rarest fish. Use your skills and upgrade your lures and rods, which are much better than the ones I'm using, to catch and collect hundreds of incredible fish. They have heaps of amazing locations to fish, like why be at this stinky river in Penrith when I could be in breezy Florida. And they also have all of my dream fish, the black grouper, the nurse shark, pacows, my favourite freshwater fish, the arapaima, and all of these high quality catchable fish are giving me a sea chub. Fishing Clash is doing a special event where you join me to catch a special fish called tug, and you will collect boat coins along the way, which you can exchange for in-game items, and you can join the event once you are level 5. To enter the event, go download the app and redeem my gift code FISHBOAT to receive a starter bonus and get access to my unique event. So please don't go out line fishing. Go download Fishing Clash and play the game today by scanning the QR code or going to the link in the description. Okay, back to boring fishing. And while I still hadn't caught anything, some bogans nearby caught a big carp, so I ran over and beat him up and stole it. And after putting it back in the water, it managed to pull 2.5 kilos on the scale, which is fantastic news. So then I hooked the scale up to the boat we're going to use and pulled it. Do you want to hop in it quickly? See how much of a big difference body weight makes. Okay, so once it's moving, the weight drops. 1.2, I'd be very happy with that speed. This might work, Jilly. This might work. And that only requires 2 kilos of force to get it started and around 1 kilo to keep it moving. And that's even with my fat mate in the boat, which means if I have 5 carp, I could probably get the boat going pretty fast. Now I just need to figure out how to harness a fish, which is a surprisingly hard thing to do. At first I thought I could just clamp to their back fins, as that wouldn't obstruct their swimming motion too much. But the plastic clamps didn't clamp on. That is slippery. And the metal clamp crushed the fish's bone and kind of made me question the ethics of all this, which I don't want to think about, so I'm not going to use it. So then I thought I could make kind of a cat harness thing out of zip ties, but the fish is too mucousy. Then I tried using fabric straps and zip ties to harness behind the pectoral fin so they couldn't slip forward, and then one on the tail, which works surprisingly well.
Look at that though. That's good.
Look at that. Mate, that's not a fish harness, that's a handbag.
That's a fish shopping bag.
Yeah, you just cut open the top. You're ready to go to the shops. Perfect.
Actually looks alright. But how strong is it actually? So now I need to figure out the chariot, and most importantly need to figure out how to get 5 pissed off carp to swim in the same direction. And I had the idea of putting bait in front like a cartoon donkey.
I don't want that. No? Nah, go that way. Yeah, that's gross.
But I doubt the fish are going to want to eat once they've been manhandled and have a harness strapped to them. So I think I'm going to make chutes, so the fish can only swim forward or back, and as far as I know, fish can't swim backwards. So I got a big sewage pipe that still smells, and then tried to work out how to stack it. And I could do it so the fish are all in the same pipe like a rail gun. So the first one accelerates the water, and then the one behind it makes it go faster and faster until I have supersonic water. But I don't think they're going to cooperate. So instead I'm going to cut the pipe into sections and put them alongside each other like those boats with like 8 outboard motors. So once I cut my chute out and put some carabiners in, I went out and caught exactly the same fish as before and attached the harness, which was actually easier than I thought. And here we go. Have you ever seen a man walking a fish before? Don't answer that if you have. And if this looks unethical to you, that's because it is. But it only looks strange because you're not used to it. When you put a harness on a dog or a horse with scoliosis, no one cares. So I reckon we should normalize taking a fish for a walk. Alright, then I attached the harness to the pipe. And it worked exactly as I intended. The fish swam forward and didn't bump around on the top or the bottom of the pipe, which means I can move on to phase 2, making the full chariot. So I just clamped the rest of the cut pipes together and put a carabiner in each, then put some noodles in to make it slightly buoyant so my fish don't sink, and attached a big stick with rope so I can steer it and command the fish on where I want them to swim. That way. It'll work better in the water, I hope. So then I prepared some lunch and some bait. And then got the boys together to go catch some carp. Oh. Hey. Oh. You're turning.
I can't. Julie's too strong for me.
Okay, here we go.
Work together.
I hear a lot of talking, not a lot of heave-hoing.
Heave. Oh. There's a slightly deeper section over here. Shut up and keep paddling. Right?
Yes, Captain.
I'm tied to this tree over here.
Land!
And after only a couple of minutes of having my rod in the water, I already had a big bite.
Get in there. Go through the quicksand.
He's strong.
And at first we thought it was the carp, but it turns out it was that eel I showed earlier in the video.
Well, you should get him. Eels are delicious. Oh.
Wait, let me get him into a shallow section. Try to run him in. Quicksand!
Oh my God, he's so smart. Slippery as an eel.
But before I could decide whether I wanted to change the name of this video to how many eels does it take to pull a boat, it snapped the line.
Wait, you just have to cross it quick. Wait, you just have to cross it quickly? What, it came
And we
off?
tried for a couple of hours more, then finally, my mate hooked a big carp while I was off talking about fish to some fishermen.
Oh my God, he's going in all sorts of directions.
Well, you know, what with all that COVID stuff going on and then
Oh wow.
I reckon start heading into the water. I used to come down here a lot with my son, but he died fighting in Afghanistan. And then I get oh no!
Ah!
And and just when Alexa was about to net it, it ripped the line. You know what? I hate line fishing. Sitting in the sun all day, the tangled lines, having to constantly redo all your rigging, stabbing yourself with the hook, and the whole premise of randomly chucking booby traps in the water not knowing what will get caught. And after 16 hours of this, I decided I would prefer to go to an illegal underground fish market and purchase live fish than ever touching a rod again. But after checking out the dodgy fish market, the fish didn't really look strong enough to pull their own body weight. This Murray cod is meant to look like this. So I decided I want to go with someone a little more ethical. And after speaking to a koi farmer, he told me that carp are actually very lazy and said a better bet would be using a fish I didn't even consider on my fish scale, as they only live up north, the mighty barramundi. So I did the fish maths, and this is going to work. They're angry, strong, and most importantly, very resilient. So I bought a small barramundi just to make sure I can still harness them.
They're quite different to carp. Oh, that's the perfect point. I don't know how happy this guy's gonna be.
And then bought this giant tub.
It doesn't smell like it has water in it.
And at the moment, this container is a little too big, so I made it more chody and cut it down and slipped it inside itself. And then I drove for a whole day up north until I got to barramundi territory. And this is my first time seeing a barra, and they are absolutely beautiful fish. But they are also a little bit intimidating.
Whoa.
The way they follow you and watch you at all times, and the speed at which they move, which is probably a good sign for this video. So we grabbed 5 of the biggest ones and put them in my tank, and they're actually around 3 to 4 kilos. So combined, I should have around 20 kilos of pushing power.
One came in nicely.
You know, I've called probably every fish farmer on the east coast of Australia, and none of them would help me when I told them what I was actually doing. But for some reason, when I told them I was going to kill the fish, then they were interested.
That's just took a piece straight off.
What was that with?
Barramundi?
With its mouth or with
No,
its...
with its gill cutters on the sides. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I have.
They're like razor blades.
And it's going to be a real challenge to harness the fish while avoiding their razor-sharp gill plates.
Now I'm scared of the barramundi.
They do sound pretty terrifying.
They do.
Slicing hands over.
Okay, I then somehow managed to drive an hour to the spot where we're going to launch the boat without killing the fish.
Should we just grab one and bring him down?
Yeah.
And now that we're here and they look happy, it's time to see how many of these guys it will take to pull a boat. And this wasn't an easy process. Even though the barra are very resilient, you still don't want to chuck them straight into another body of water. So first I mixed in some seawater with their tank and left them for an hour, then scooped them out of their big tank and put them in some smaller buckets, ready to be harnessed. And this is by far the most stressful thing I've ever filmed. I felt like I was disposing a bomb, a slippery, sharp fish bomb. Except instead of me dying, I have a minute to stop the fish from dying and get them in the water in time. And luckily we managed to harness all of them with minimal drama. Then I let them recover in the water for a little bit before attaching them to the boat. And this is by far the wackest thing I've ever done or seen anyone do. And again, if you're going to say this is unethical, there are literally people on YouTube that shoot and kill fish. So go get angry at them and not me.
Alright. You got it? Yeah.
Let's go quickly into the water.
Alright, that was pretty smooth, and they were only out of the water for about a minute. And now, to my complete surprise, I seem to actually be moving. Not fast, but I was definitely moving.
I think I'm turning.
You're moving? Slowly, but moving.
And I didn't know it, but one fish slipped out straight away, but the other 4 picked up the slack.
You're going against the wind too. If we had it facing the other way, I reckon you'd go quicker.
And turning didn't really work, as well as I had imagined, and the fish kind of took me wherever they decided to go. And this definitely isn't groundbreaking innovation like I hoped, but I'm surprised I'm even moving at all. And the fish did slow down after like 30 seconds, but splashing the water seemed to encourage them to pick up speed again.
Yeah, you're definitely moving. You've gone a fair way. You're picking up speed right now. Yeah, you're moving pretty well now. Come on, boys! Yeah, you're doing well now. You're going.
Then another fish from the top chute got out, but the bottom 3 fish was still making me move, but I still couldn't turn them at all.
They've got an agenda. They're heading towards the marine rescue.
Also, while watching back the footage, I noticed the tyres fell back into the water, so they were definitely increasing the drag of the boat.
I mean, you were going right against the wind before, you were still moving. You need to start turning early.
Then after being pulled around for 2 minutes, reaching a whopping max speed of 2 kilometers an hour or 1 mile per hour, the fish died or gave up.
They're not swimming. One of them's come out. Wait, no, 2. 2 are missing. The top 2 fish got out.
Hang on. Yeah, they're out.
And luckily, they all got off.
How did they get out?
I don't know, it must have slipped off the back.
Which isn't actually that bad, as at least some lucky fisherman is going to catch them and then use them to pull his boat. So there's the answer to the question. It takes 4 barramundi with a combined mass of 16 kilos to pull a boat at 2 kilometers for around 2 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. If you like that, please subscribe and check out my other videos.